Hey guys! The internet's been buzzing about Kanye's new wife Bianca Censori, but trust me, her fashion choices are the least interesting thing about her. Today we're diving into something that's been kept under wraps, the Censori family's deep connections to Australia's most notorious criminal empire. Think you know everything about this architect turned celebrity wife? Well, what if I told you that while Bianca was designing buildings, her father Leo was running one of Melbourne's most sophisticated gambling operations? And that's just the surface level of this story. The documents that just surfaced about the Censori family will make everything you thought you knew about Bianca seem like a children's story. We're talking about a family dynasty that makes The Sopranos look like amateur hour. Multiple sources confirm that the Censori family isn't just connected to the Melbourne underworld, they practically built it. From illegal gambling schemes to high-profile crimes, this family's history reads like a Martin Scorsese script. But here's what's really fascinating. While everyone's been focused on Bianca's relationship with Kanye, they've completely missed how her family background might explain why she seems so unfazed by all the drama. When you grow up in a family like this, dealing with Kanye West might actually be the least complicated part of your life. Picture Melbourne in the 1980s, a city where gambling empires ruled the streets and the Censori name carried more weight than any law enforcement badge. Bianca's father, Leo, wasn't just another player in this game. He was orchestrating moves that would reshape Australia's criminal landscape. Fresh documents reveal that in 1991, Leo's operation wasn't just about illegal gambling. His ex-wife Faye spilled details about finding rolls of cash. We're talking $40,000 to $60,000 just casually sitting on their coffee table. In today's money, that's enough to make even Kanye's bank account look modest. The recently unsealed police files paint a picture so wild, 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 paint a picture so wild. It makes Goodfellas look like it, but Leo wasn't working alone. His brother Erison, dubbed Melbourne's most notorious gangland killer, had a reputation that made hardened criminals shake in their boots. And then there's Eddie, the eldest brother, who earned the nickname Melbourne's Al Capone, and trust me, he worked hard for that title. Think about it. While other kids were playing with toys, young Bianca was growing up in a world where having police protection was as normal as having breakfast. Because when rival gangs put a hit out on her father, that's exactly what the family needed. Shifting through court documents reveals something mind-blowing about Bianca's uncle Erison. This man wasn't just any criminal, he managed to turn a death sentence into a life term, then somehow finessed his way back to Victoria. The legal maneuvering? Pure genius. The way Erison played the system shows exactly where Bianca gets her strategic thinking from. He argued that as a prison transferee, the only sentence he could legally face was Western Australia's death penalty, which Victoria had already abolished in 1975. The courts couldn't touch him after that. Meanwhile, Uncle Eddie wasn't just running typical mob operations. Sources say he transformed Melbourne's entertainment industry through what he called amusement machine businesses. But let's be real, these weren't exactly arcade games we're talking about. The family's business model was so sophisticated, international crime experts still study it today. Court records show Eddie worked every angle: bouncer, laborer, billiard marker, cafe proprietor. But these weren't just jobs. They were fronts for an operation that would make modern-day tech companies jealous of its complexity. The real genius behind the Censori empire wasn't just their criminal operations, it was how they legitimized their wealth. Take Bianca's father Leo's current gambling company. On paper, it's completely legal, but industry insiders whisper about connections that run deeper than any official document shows. Those elite private schools Bianca and her sisters attended. That designer wardrobe they flaunted around Melbourne. It wasn't just about showing off, it was about crafting an image of legitimate success. The family mastered the art of living in the shadows. Think about the timing of all this. Right when authorities thought they had the family cornered in the 90s, they pulled off their most brilliant move, going legitimate, or at least appearing to. The way they transformed their reputation from notorious criminals to successful business people. That's some next-level strategic thinking. The paper trail connecting their past to their present will shatter everything you thought you knew about money laundering. And those mysterious business meetings in Tokyo that Bianca's been spotted at with Kanye, let's just say she might be bringing more business acumen to the table than peeling back the layers of the Censori sisters' public image reveals something fascinating. While Bianca's been making headlines with Kanye, her sisters Angelina and Alicia have been quietly managing parts of the family's legitimate enterprises. But don't let their polished Instagram feeds fool you. Alexandra, their mother, deserves an Oscar for the way she's managed the family's public narrative. Sources say she's the mastermind behind transforming their image from Melbourne's most notorious crime family to sophisticated business entrepreneurs. Every carefully curated photo, every strategic public appearance, it's all part of a bigger plan. The sisters' matching designer wardrobes and perfectly timed social media posts aren't just about flexing. They're about maintaining what insiders call the new family business model. Think Kardashian-level image management, but with a dash of Soprano-style family loyalty. The encrypted family group chats that just leaked expose a level of coordination that would make the CIA jealous. But here's where it gets interesting. While everyone's been focused on Bianca's outrageous outfits with Kanye's outrageous outfits with Kanye's outrageous outfits with Kanye, they've missed how she's applying her family's strategic playbook to the entertainment industry. Diving into the family's legal battles exposes a whole new dimension of their power plays. Take that recent Supreme Court showdown between Bianca's father and his sister over those Brunswick properties. On the surface, it looked like a simple property dispute. Scratch deeper, and you'll find a masterclass in strategic asset management. The court documents read like a thriller novel. One property transfer, multiple hidden agreements, a conveniently timed fire that destroyed key documents. It's the kind of legal maneuvering that makes corporate lawyers look like amateurs. And guess who was taking notes during all this? Young Bianca, watching her family turn the legal system into their personal chessboard. Remember when Alinea claimed Erison is not a person you can say no to? That wasn't just family drama, it was a glimpse into how the censorists handle business. When Justice MacDonald finally ruled in Erison's favor, nobody in Melbourne's legal circles was surprised. The family doesn't just win battles, they make sure they never enter fights they can't win. The way this family manipulates the legal system would make Better Call Saul look like a rookie lawyer. And those mysterious meetings Bianca's been having with Kanye's legal team, let's just say she learned from the best when it comes to protecting assets and managing empires. Flipping through police archives from the 80s reveals something mind-blowing about the family's influence. When Leo's gambling empire was at its peak, even the authorities knew better than to make direct moves against them. Instead of raids, they'd send friendly warnings. That's how untouchable the censorists had become. The family's power wasn't just about muscle or money, it was about information. They knew everyone's secrets, from corrupt officials to rival gangsters. But here's what sets them apart. They rarely used this info for blackmail. Instead, they created a network of mutual understanding. You don't mess with us, we don't mess with you. Fast forward to today, and you can see Bianca applying these same principles in Hollywood. Notice how no one in the industry really criticizes her relationship with Kanye. That's not just about respect, it's about understanding power dynamics, a lesson she learned at the family dinner table. The secret recordings from Melbourne's underground casinos expose a family code that would make the Illuminati take notes. Those seemingly provocative. Photos with Kanye? The controversial outfits? Don't be fooled, every move is calculated, just like her father taught. Analyzing the Censori family's business evolution shows a pattern that'd make Wall Street executives envious. From street-level operations to sophisticated financial schemes, they didn't just adapt, they revolutionized Melbourne's underground economy. Those amusement machine businesses, they ran in the 80s. They weren't just fronts, they were test runs for what would become legitimate gaming enterprises. While law enforcement was busy looking for traditional criminal activity, the family was already moving into gray market operations that existed just within legal boundaries. Ever wonder why Bianca got that architecture degree? Sources close to the family say it wasn't just about career prospects. The censorists understood something crucial. The best way to hide in plain sight is to excel in legitimate fields. Every family member had their role in this grand strategy. The business model they created is so brilliant. Harvard Business School secretly studies it. And now, watching Bianca navigate the entertainment industry with Kanye, you can see those same strategic moves at play. The way she handles media attention, business dealings, and uncovering the truth about Uncle Erison's notorious reputation reveals something nobody's talking about. This man didn't just beat a death sentence, he rewrote the rules of criminal defense in Australia. The legal precedent he set still has lawyers scratching their heads decades later. Fresh intel suggests that while Erison was making headlines for his court battles, he was simultaneously building a network of international connections that would later prove invaluable to the family's evolution. From Asian gambling syndicates to European investment groups, he saw globalization coming before the banks did. The family's ability to transform these underground connections into legitimate business relationships? That's where the real genius lies. By the time authorities caught on to their old operations, the censorists had already established themselves in completely legal ventures that were just as profitable. The international money trails they created are so complex. Even forensic accountants call them works of art. Now look at how Bianca handles Kanye's business empire. Those mysterious meetings in Japan. The sudden interest in international fashion houses. She's not just playing wife, she's expanding the family's sphere of influence into entirely new territories. Breaking down Alexandra Censori's role in the family dynamic shatters every stereotype about mob wives. This woman isn't just standing by her man, she's been orchestrating one of the most sophisticated image transformations in Australian history. Fresh sources reveal how she methodically rebuilt the family's public persona. Private school enrollments, strategic social connections, carefully planned charity involvements, every move designed to distance them from their notorious past while maintaining their power base. The way she handled media attention during the family's most controversial periods, pure genius. While other crime families were making headlines, Alexandra had journalists writing about her daughter's academic achievements and their community involvement. Talk about controlling the narrative. The PR strategy documents Alexandra created would make Kris Jenner look like an amateur. And those perfectly timed social media posts from the Censori sisters, that's Alexandra's influence at work. She understood before most that in today's world, perception isn't just part of the game, it is the game. Watch how Bianca applies these same principles with Kanye and me, turning negative press into strategic advantage. The really fascinating part? While everyone's focused on the sisters' glamorous Instagram feeds, they're missing how this social media presence serves as the perfect cover for much more sophisticated operations. Shifting through financial records exposes something mind-bending about the Censori empire's evolution. That gambling operation Leo ran in the 80s? It wasn't just about quick cash. It was a testing ground for financial systems they'd later use in legitimate businesses worldwide. Recent documents show how the family transformed their understanding of underground economies into perfectly legal, highly profitable ventures. We're talking about investment strategies so innovative that major banks started copying them without realizing where these methods originated. The really clever part: while everyone was watching their known businesses, the family was quietly acquiring properties across Melbourne's most strategic locations. Those Brunswick properties that caused the family court battle. Just the tip of a real estate empire that's worth more than anyone's reporting. The property portfolio they've built would make Donald Trump's holdings look like a Monopoly game. Watch how Bianca's applying these lessons to Kanye's empire. Those weird fashion shows in empty warehouses. Look closer, they're always in buildings connected to strategic investment opportunities. She's not just playing dress up, she's scouting locations for future ventures. And those mysterious meetings with international investors, sources say she's not there as Kanye's wife. She's there representing family interests that go way beyond fashion or music. Let's talk about something nobody's connecting: the way the Censori sisters operate as a unit. While Bianca's grabbing headlines with Kanye, Angelina and Alicia are executing power moves that would make corporate raiders jealous. Fresh intel suggests they've developed a system where each sister plays a specific role in expanding family interests. Bianca's high-profile marriage, it's opening doors that the family's been eyeing for years. Meanwhile, her sisters are quietly securing deals in everything from